Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Valeria Meneses, and as part of the fire marketing team at Bosch, I give you the warmest welcome to today's webinar, Overcoming the Challenges of Fire Safety in Parking Facilities. As on our previous webinar, you will have the opportunity to activate WebEx Automatic Translation Tool. In order to do that, you will need to have the WebEx app previously installed, whether on your PC or your mobile phone. I will guide you through some really basic steps and easy steps to follow in order for you to do that, in case you haven't done it yet. In order to install the WebEx app on your PC, you will need to click on the webinar link. And then instead of clicking on Join through the browser, you will need to click Download the WebEx app. Afterwards, you will have to wait a few minutes, even faster than that, maybe, and then you will have to input your name and your email address. This is not a registration, it's only for you to access the webinar. In case you are accessing from your mobile phone, the process is very similar. You will need to go to the Apple or Google Store, or just click the link from the webinar, and then you will select the option of joining a meeting after downloading the app. This process will also take only a few seconds. Lastly, you will need to copy-paste the link of the webinar on the space suggested to do that. Afterwards, you only input your name and your email address as well. In order to enable this real-time translation, in which you will be able to choose your preferred language, you only need to go to the left bottom corner on your PC and click on the little CC icon that is visible there. Afterwards, you will have the list of all the languages that are available on the WebEx app to choose from. In case you are joining from your mobile phone, the process is a bit different, but it's really easy as well. You will see 3 dots below, and then you will need to click there and choose Closed Captions. The pre-selected language is English, but you can change it to any other language available. We are very interested in hearing your feedback regarding this WebEx tool that we are implementing now in our webinars. So I really encourage you to please stay at the end of the webinar and give us your feedback through the survey available. Just a few more considerations before we move forward with the presentation. This webinar is being recorded, and as usual, you will get the recording as well as the slides afterwards. Also, you are free to ask your questions and also any comments that you would like to share with us, in this case through the Q&A, which has been renamed Slido. This is easily available on the right side of your screen, and there you can type your questions. We will try to get to all of your questions at the end of the presentation. And now, without further ado, I give the welcome and I pass the microphone to my colleague, Patricia Boggers, Business Development Manager of AVIOTEC and today's presenter. Patricia, good morning.
Good morning, Valeria, and good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to have the chance today to jump together with all of you into the exciting world of video-based fire detection. So let's start with the presentation, if we are all ready.
Yes, please. Let's see your presentation. Whenever you can, please share your slides. Now we're seeing them.
Great. Thank you, Valeria. So a warm welcome from my side. I'm Patricia Boggers, Global Business and Product Manager of AVIOTEC, Bosch's answer to video-based fire detection. And today, we take the chance to jump deeper into, on the one side, this innovative technology and way of detecting fire on site in short time. And on the other side, also addressing a specific vertical, a specific market, like the parking facilities, and emerging, rising market with specific needs for fast and reliable fire detection. Why that is the case, what the challenges are, the benefits and the possibilities of using AVIOTEC in this context is the content I would like to discuss with you today. Yeah, so where do we come from, or what are the markets, the challenges we are dealing with? When it comes to parking facilities, it's on the one side a parking garage, like you can see it on this picture here, indoor, outdoor, half open, undercover areas. It can be a fully outside parking area, as well as the whole topic of depots. Is it for bus charging and maintenance reason, for maintaining those buses in big depots, and here also rising challenges with regards to e-mobility, because more and more charging stations are of course installed in these premises. Is it the parking garage? Is it the depots, where safety managers need to find an answer to? So yeah, to sum it up, here you see the four key goals or challenges safety managers face in this area. First of all, on top of all, it is keeping the space safe and saving life, but also assets. High values are involved. Is it with the cars, with the equipment, with the buses, with the charging stations, with the whole building, in the whole infrastructure included, that needs to be ensured and saved by a proper solution. Plus, of course, the topic of preventing any interruption in the business process, so to ensure the business guarantee with a proper safety and fire protection design, as well as minimizing the overall risks while complying, of course, to the local regulations and policies. So, but what can happen in this context? We'll jump on the next slide. I brought an example from a concrete case, an incident that happened 2 years ago in London, where at Luton Airport, a Range Rover drove into the Terminal 2 car parking area, already with light smoke coming out of the car caused by a electrical failure. So what happened was that the incident was in first space not recognized. The car drove through the area, reaching the 3rd level, and then the incident just came to a point that the electrical fault led to an explosion of the car. Means it was already the way inside the premise, and led to the fact that the whole building at that point collapsed, leading to the fact that over 1,300 vehicles were destroyed and 4 firefighters injured. So this example shows how important it is to find an answer to a rapid response, means a rapid detection of these possible risks at an early stage within the whole premise and area monitoring. So this brings us directly to AVIOTEC, our answer for video-based fire detection. As you can see, AVIOTEC as a CCTV camera with included algorithms for smoke as well as flame detection. Years of experience on the market show that we have here a solution on hand that can exactly address those needs of a rapid detection on site in those challenging environments. Is it due to complex infrastructure, illumination, to the visibility, heights to be covered, areas to be covered? You will find out it's a flexible way of an additional fire detection exactly in those challenging environments that we deal today with the parking facilities and depots. But later more to the benefits and features of the product. Let's discuss first and see what specifically the challenges mean in this context with regards to parking facilities. First of all, the mentioned complex architecture. We often deal with several levels of parking garages, often connected to a commercial or residential premise that also needs to be protected, of course, in this context. We have different height of ceilings. We have pillars in between, dividing walls. So yeah, we need to find an answer in the context of this challenging infrastructure to provide a proper fire detection. So AVIOTEC can be one solution, one answer to these challenges. If it is positioned in the right place, so also, of course it needs a direct field of view side to the fire incidents, then it is able to detect those smoke and flame incidents at the source. Moreover, it is possible to use the technology within a given security camera infrastructure. So like a standard security camera, it can be mounted on the wall, means similar installation time, costs, and complexity like standard CCTV cameras. Let's talk about a second challenge within those parking spots. As we see, cars, combustion vehicles being involved, of course, this is one first main fire source in context with parking facilities in depots. What we see now as a big trend, of course, with regards to e-mobility, more and more questions are addressed of how to save and support these premises with regards to the upcoming batteries of the cars involved in these areas, as well as the charging stations coming with a certain fire risk. Is it from sparks, from the loading process itself? So here also AVIOTEC can provide a solution by detecting at the source in time. So as soon as smoldering signs are visible in the image, the detection can take place and a proper early detection be provided. Next challenge, those different areas. Is it indoor, outdoor, semi-open? Here in this case, in this picture, you see this half-open open space, which brings wind, of course, into the game. Wind can lead to an even higher ignition of a possible fire, but also preventing the smoke detection with classic fire detectors. So whenever classic fire detectors come to their limits, it's time to think about AVIOTEC. And in this context, for semi-open and open areas, the possibility is there also to use AVIOTEC in a fitting installation position, to detect those possible fire risks. Is it from the already discussed reasons of loading or of combustion cars, or is it also from possible incidents like vandalism or theft that might cause also any fire incidents? AVIOTEC can be the solution to detect those incidents, so those fire incidents in this context at a really high speed. Next challenge within parking areas is definitely the one of the lighting conditions. We see, besides the complex infrastructure, we see the challenge for visibility. Is it partial lighting? Is it the difference between daylight and night with full darkness, or a reduced visibility? So here also an answer needs to be found when it comes to choosing the right detection technology. So with existing technologies, one might come to the limit. And in this context, it's time also to think about the proper solution with video-based fire detection, especially with AVIOTEC, that comes with a high dynamic factor, means the difference in the image between the darkest and the lightest spot has been improved to factor 1000. We originally came from factor 5, so there's a high improvement, means the camera can cope with challenging lighting conditions, as well as it comes with an integrated infrared illuminator means there can be also a 24/7 hour detection be provided, day as well as night, all around the clock. So we have talked a lot about parking facilities. As mentioned, there is this other market and premise to be protected that comes a lot, with a lot of challenges for classic fire detection technologies, and that's the whole area of depots. Is it for maintenance reasons? Buses are charged there, they are washed, they are repaired, and here we deal with high or with big buildings, high ceilings. We have fire risks from welding processes, wiring processes, possible overheating with regards to the engines, and of course batteries involved more and more in these areas as the fleet is transformed to an e-mobility concept as well, what we see as a trend. So again here, the charging stations, the batteries, as well as the other fire risks need to be addressed. And we see it from several examples in the market that AVIOTEC can be a fitting solution in context with these challenging environments to address them with a proper detection in time on site. So now we've talked a lot about the precondition, the challenges, where we come from, what we want to address, and what we need to take care about. So let's have a look into the features of AVIOTEC before we go into some use cases where those features can beneficially be applied to address the need of early fire detection. First of all, the camera comes with an all-in-one approach, means it has a robust IP67 housing, leading to the fact that it can be easily used in indoor as well as in outdoor areas. No additional accessory is needed, as it already comes with an integrated IR illuminator with an integrated bracket, as well as with the integrated lens that can be adapted. Their focal length, the opening angle can be adapted within the graphical user interface. The sensor has been improved for a better image quality to 4 megapixel, means a high quality capture of the pictures, of the images within the installation, within the application. The IR illuminator, we have already talked about, that is directly activated when it comes to intensity, a light intensity of below 1 lux. The IR illuminator is automatically activated to ensure this all around the clock detection with 24/7 standalone operation. On top of that, the heart of the product is the deep learning algorithm network included, means the camera comes with a integrated neural network that is pre-trained based on several thousand videos, tested within the same scope of videos, means the camera is trained to the status of deciding by itself if a fire event takes place or not. And these algorithms are integrated within the camera and have been trained over the last years to get even faster, more robust, and more sensitive. We will come to the neural network and its content later again, but the important message definitely is the one that the analytics and the processing of the data takes place within the camera. The camera itself comes with a 2 relay output, means one for trouble, one for alarm, so that it can easily be connected via conventional line to a fire panel. And on top of that, we have a planning tool available as an Excel-based additional tool that helps you to design the fitting concept for AVIOTEC within the installation spots, as well as the number of cameras can easily be calculated within this tool to provide the proper detection area and the proper concept for the specific installation. Last but not least, and not to forget, since this year we have reached the so-called VDS certification according to VDS regulation 3847 for video-based fire detection. VDS as Europe's top certifier for fire protection systems tested the camera with different test fires and also it underwent rigorous environmental tests. Is it mechanical ones, thermal ones, electrical ones? So we can state that it underwent rigorous testing, means to the fact that we can assure a high reliability and quality claim when it comes to the overall performance of AVIOTEC, which demonstrates its quality and reliability, of course. So to make it a little bit more practical, I brought a video from our fire lab in Munich where we tested the camera, and you see here we simulated TF6 test fire, including a challenging background with this orange wall, plus an extra backlight, to stress the camera, to bring it really under pressure. But you see, nevertheless, the camera is able to detect, and after 23 seconds, the flame alarm is set. Can be seen by the bounding box around the fire event. So this was color mode, so means daylight detection. Now let's have a look into night light, and without light, of course, detection. And here I brought a video that we took in our production in OVAR, simulating an event that can happen within those charging installation. The worker leaves in the evening and charges this vehicle, and now the fire incident happens. You see the smoldering smoke appearing. This is how the camera looks on the event, starts the verification, the processing of the event, and then decides by its own, when we turn into the red bounding box modus, that an alarm has to be set, a fire event has to be communicated and transported the signals within the installation. So we talked about this challenge with wind, and here we can see that the robustness against windy conditions has been significantly improved. We also simulated a test fire, in this case TF5, and the challenge actually is the one that the fire event, of course, needs to be in the image in a time frame that is sufficient enough for proper detection. But despite these windy conditions and the long distance, of course, you see those 52 meters, the camera is able to detect both the flame and the smoke event. Now coming into the context with our parking facilities, you see here an example that we took in our parking garage, now our parking area, also simulating a TF a test fire. In this context, also for VDS certification, and also over a long distance, the camera captures the event, even in these challenging lighting conditions and this complex infrastructure. Last but not least, as a video out of a bus depot that I wanted to share here. You see the smoke arising between the buses. This is an installation from Italy, where we also had the chance to install AVIOTEC, and you see that this is a typical event, how it can happen in these areas, in these surroundings. The smoke rises out of the bus, smoldering smoke, and the camera is able to catch already these size and density of smoke event. So let's have a look inside the camera. We have already dealt with the neural network. Yeah, it's kind of with you can see it as a little brain here inside the camera, which brings us to the point that the camera decides by itself based on the trained status if a fire event takes place or not in the image. It lives from the image that it gets out of the application. So the optical sensor captures the image and then the data is processed within the camera in real time at the source. Means the processing takes place within the camera. The neural network decides if fire event takes place or not, and then transfers the message, the triggering within the local network, but also possibly to optional cloud connections on a display for further verification or on handheld devices where you can also, where trained staff can verify the signals, the alarms given by the camera. On a live stream level, which what is also possible to connect the camera to a video management system. And all these possibilities of connection give you the opportunity of having in time a live insight into the event, what's happening there. And then the decision can take place either locally or remotely, what next steps in the alarm, if and what steps in the alarm chains have to be taken. So a lot of time can be saved within the alarm chain, and you get directly in time the live insight into the happening, into the event. Yeah, we have often asked about the detection ranges, and you saw those 50 meters in the videos before. Yeah, to give you a rough estimation or rough assumption, one can say that based on the smallest opening angle of the camera with 48.5 degree and standardized fire size. This comes also from the VDS norms. Is it for flame? It's 50 centimeter. For smoke, it's 75 centimeter. The camera reaches around 50 meter of detection distance. And now when you think about the possibility of installing a camera, just to give you an idea about the coverage area, to install a camera, let's say every 10 meters. So one camera roughly covers an area of 500, 600 square meter, always depending, of course, on the specific side of view and infrastructure. Means the camera, of course, needs to have a direct sight on the area to be monitored. Means any obstacle in between needs to be considered when it comes to a proper installation concept. So bi-directional positioning of the cameras might be a solution to overcome possible obstacles in between the field of view. When it comes to environmental factors, of course, we need to talk and deal with different factors that need to be considered when designing a proper AVIOTEC concept. When we deal with those indoor and outdoor areas, of course, the weather conditions need to be considered. Is it wind? Is it sunshine or fog? Fog can also come into premises and lead to the fact that no direct field of view to the fire event is given. Thus, the camera might not work properly as it needs a direct side of view to the fire event. Wind might be the reason that the smoke is just blowing too fast out of the image. Sunshine might be the reason that the dynamic factor is just not within the specification anymore, so that we exceed it, and then a proper flame detection might not be given. So these environmental factors need to be considered. And on the other side, when it comes to the robustness, of course, those premises, those installations have factors, have effects that need to be considered in order to avoid fails triggering. Fails triggering can come from any possible weather effect, of course. Is it cloud reflections? Is it sun reflections on any surface, but also water damp within the installation. Think about any washing station, or in outdoor areas, chimney smoke of buildings that are surrounded or surround the area that needs to be detected. Yeah, as well as flashing lights, blinking lights from vehicles that are that come into the picture in these areas, maintenance vehicles or the cars, the buses themselves. Bring those challenges to blink to the lighting conditions as well. Not to forget the exhausts of the combustions that actually need to be defined as fire events. It's a fire event that is properly detected by the camera, but we want to avoid those triggers. So we need to think about a proper design. And here we have different possibilities in order to cope with these challenges. First of all, it is about the installation. So means when it comes to design a fitting installation concept for AVIOTEC, we recommend, of course, to adjust the opening angle as well as the inclination angle in a way, and position, of course, the camera in a way that no reflections are visible. For example, when it comes to solar panels, we recommend to install the camera against the panels. When you have those reflecting surfaces within your installation, it's recommended to find a installation spot in order to avoid those reflections within the camera image. Also avoid looking at the sky, so means having as little sky in the image as possible to avoid any false triggerings coming from cloud movements, sunlight, etc. Again, we need a direct view on the detection area, so any obstacle in between needs to be avoided. And what can also help to enhance the robustness of the installation of the concept is to work with a dual camera response approach. Means that within the alarm chain processing of the triggers of AVIOTEC, possibly two cameras need to send a signal before any alarm steps are activated within the alarm chain. Again, we always recommend to have a man in the loop. So means after the camera has triggered, there is one trained person that is it the depot manager, the safety manager, whoever is in response here, in responsibility here, to check and define if any additional step has to be taken within the alarm chain, or if we deal with a false trigger. We talked about installation. There is another step or another area to be considered, and this is the one of the configuration of the camera. The AVIOTEC has different features that help to increase the robustness. You can deal with different profiles to configure the sensitivity and the verification time of the camera. We will see that later in the next slide. But besides the configuration of verification time and sensitivity, you can also work with mask. Means to exclude some areas that are very busy, where you see regularly natural damp heat events, for example, or exhausts in the image. These can be excluded from the detection, or exposed to a higher verification time to bring more robustness into the system. You can also decide of choosing between the models. Means for areas where a lot of smoke triggers occur and the smoke detection is not that important, but flame is the one we want to focus on, or we want to provide. You could deactivate the smoke one and only trigger possible flames in the image. We also have a time scheduler available. Means you can work with different profiles, as well as an event triggered setup, where you can work via, for example, a key switch in busy areas or in busy working hours, for example, for maintenance reasons or whatever, when water damp is for washing reasons, for example, in the image. You could switch off the detection for a certain time and then switch it on via this event-triggered profile. Let's have a look how that looks like in the graphical user interface. I brought you an image out of the GUI where you configure the fire detection. Here you see both models, flame and smoke, with the possibility, as mentioned, to adjust the sensitivity as well as the verification time to the needed robustness. Means you can create profiles out of these settings that lead to the next step that you see on the right side, this time scheduler, where you can work with these dedicated pre-configured profiles. Means, for example, in day mode, where we have busy working hours with a lot of possible triggers for AVIOTEC, we deal with a more robust setting, whereas by night, where there is not much movement in the image, not very busy, not many triggers, we deal with a more sensitive setting. Even more important, as possibly no person is there to monitor by night, so you can increase the sensitivity level of the installation of the camera by night, and then flexibly configure and set those profiles to the needs of the given premise to be protected. Yeah, here to sum it up with the connectivity options that we have already discussed, AVIOTEC can be integrated into the installation by two approaches. On the upper side, you see the integration via the mentioned two output relays into the fire world, means by conventional light and interface module to connect it to a panel. The camera can be supported by EN54 for power supply to close the gap here as well. Besides this connection to the fire panel, we always recommend to also provide the second connectivity option for AVIOTEC, means via network. A switch provides the connectivity to either a local display, to local networks, where you can do the further verification on site, and also the recording. Not to forget, an important point in this whole use case, means you do not only get the live insight, but also have the possibility of record possible incidents, either locally on the camera itself via SD card, or via a central recording device like the DVAR or the video management system for later root cause analysis. Is it for the customer him herself, or also insurance companies that benefit from these direct root cause analysis possibility. You see here also the connection via router to remote access, so that you have one nice use case in this context definitely is the one of providing information not only locally but also remotely, either to operators, to end users, customers, but also to the possibly then to firefighting stations, so that they already get an insight into the fire event that occurred while approaching the premise. No other detector is possible to bring that much information, besides the alarm itself, onto those devices, so that you have already an insight into the fire event itself, the persons involved, possible materials involved, which brings a huge benefit to within the alarm chain to address the right measures and save valuable time again. Yeah, so to sum it up, we think that AVIOTEC in the current platform 8000 IIR provides a value proposition with its benefits, with its features that can successfully address the challenges that we see, especially in the parking facilities and depots, means to provide a proper, reliable detection on time and give those insights in time to the relevant, to the responsible persons and positions involved. And when it comes to the parking facility market itself, or to the whole transportation sector itself, we see a lot of AVIOTEC projects globally being successfully implemented. More than a third of all AVIOTEC projects run in the transportation sector. It is about those bus depots and parking garages we discussed today, but also think about airport and hangar protection and train stations, etc., where also high values are involved, where classic fire detectors might come to their limits, where you have the challenging environmental conditions like wind and semi-open open areas where dust and humidity is involved, and of course the high fire load by increasing requirements to protect these premises. So with this, we have reached for now the end of the presentation, but of course there's time left for any questions that arise.
Exactly, Patricia. First of all, thank you very much for your thorough presentation. I think it was very interesting also to see the videos and the specific use cases. And indeed, it has triggered several questions. So I will just go ahead and tackle those. First of all, really quickly, here is the QR code that you can scan in order to answer the survey. It is really important for us to have your feedback, so please take a minute of your time to really quickly answer some of the questions regarding the content and also regarding the automatic translation. Yes, and then moving forward with the questions, the very first one that it is very important because several people have mentioned it, it's regarding certifications, specifically EN54.
Yeah, certification, of course, one main and important questions to answer with regards to fire detection products and technologies. As mentioned, we have reached the VDS certification, which already gives a good and high feedback when it comes to the reliability level, as mentioned, with those tests carried out and those rigorous environmental testing the camera was exposed to. But when it comes to the EN54 norms, the camera is not certified yet, based on the fact that no EN54 norm is existing yet for video-based fire detection. It is a running process. The message is clear, or the requirement is understood to provide a certification or first of all a standard there. The process is running. The working group is installed. We work closely within this working group together to be able to bring our benefit into the game, to establish as soon as possible an EN54 video-based fire detection standard, so to bring even more comparability to other technologies in this context on the market, and to provide the next steps in further targeting the market based on EN54 certification for AVIOTEC.
What can be done in a situation where there is low visibility, let's say high fog?
This is exactly the point that needs to be considered when we have high density of fog in the image. Either the camera triggers due to the fact that the movement of the fog are similar to real smoke event based on which it is trained, or on the other side we can deal with the fact that the field of view is just not covered. Means the camera cannot see the fire event, and this needs to be closely monitored. And that is another thing why we strongly recommend to test the camera within the installation, not only for some hours. Of course, the first proof of concept with test fires is important and mandatory, but exposing the camera over several weeks, better months, to the installation to see which scenery, which events happened, and then to find an answer. Is it a suitable technology? Is it something we can cope with the installation concept, with the configuration concept, by the measures and features we've discussed previously here?
Good. And can the camera be integrated with competition VMS?
It can be integrated within the BVMS, but also within Milestone, Genetec, so the standard well-known video management system brands.
And specifically regarding BVMS, so Bosch's video management system, now Infinity, do we get more options for the camera?
More options means, I suppose it is linked to the questions with additional security features that we know from standard security cameras. If that's the case, those additional streams that directly are processed within the security camera and transferred to the video management system can be monitored via the video, via the CCTV camera itself, plus the streams from the AVIOTEC camera. So currently we deal with 2 cameras, but we try to bring a solution on the market to combine the security streams with the fire streams again in future. Leads to the fact that both sides can be addressed and monitored within the video management system. The security side with the classification, with the observation functions and so on, plus the fire detection of AVIOTEC.
Very well. More questions incoming. So is it possible to set pre-alarm at the smoke detection and actual fire alarm at fire detection?
You mean, or I think the question leads to the fact that you configure the different models separately. Is it via verification, time, sensitivity, what I showed previously in the GUI? This is possible to configure the models differently so that I have a different robustness and sensitivity on the flame and on the smoke. And with the verification time for each model, I define the pre-alarm. This can be configured differently and separately.
Good. And can we get single schematic for the installation? Not sure what this person means here.
If it leads to the question of a dedicated design for a specific floor plan, this is something that is possible with the Excel tool I've mentioned before, where you can use your specific floor plan of your installation, use it within the tool, and then design the proper concept with regards to number and installation points and configuration of the camera based on the dedicated floor plan design of the installation.
Good. And I think lastly, is it possible to use it for forest fires as well? Is it possible to detect from long distances?
We see the urgent need of finding answers to this big challenge of forest fires, keeping the whole world in trouble, one can say. I mean, worldwide we see those severe events happening where which quickly leads to the fact that the early detection is coming into the game here. We are running certain tests there. One needs to consider that we are in a full outdoor area and also monitoring in those full outdoor areas with the related environmental factors involved is something that needs to be addressed even more concretely, means enabling the algorithms to even more robustness for these environmental factors we have discussed, and also on the other side, increasing the detection range of the camera. I mean, 50 meters is already a good starting point, but when you come in those on this use cases with environmental monitoring, we need to increase the detection distance. This is something we're working on. This is addressed. We see the need of increasing these detection ranges in spaces. But those are the factors we need to address and answer before we can globally or strongly address and target those markets and installations.
Very well, Patricia. Thank you for responding the questions. Of course, you will also be available on your LinkedIn page that we will display here again in a few seconds for people to contact you directly in case they have any question or any specific doubt regarding a project. And of course, you have your Bosch colleagues available locally that you can also contact them to find out more information about this solution. Just before we also close this session, I would like you to invite everyone to receive our newsletters. And to do that, please scan the QR code on the left. You will get more information about not only AVIOTEC, but all of our other solutions, and also, of course, about upcoming webinars that we will have in the future. Patricia, I would thank you very much for your time, and everyone, thank you very much for your participation. We will be happy to see you again in the future.
Thank you very much and have a good day.
Good day, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.